Welcome to Coruzant Technologies, home of the Digital Executive Podcast.
Welcome to the Digital Executive. Today's guest is Thomas Fredell. As Chief Product Officer, Thomas Fredell is responsible for all aspects of product management, design, and engineering, including driving product growth and innovation of Datasite. Thomas has deep leadership experience in finance and technology. Prior to joining Datasite in 2015, he was a CEO of Smith Co. Investments. Before that, he was the CTO for several technology and fintech companies, including Snag and Intralinks. Thomas is also an investor and entrepreneur. He co-founded and led a SaaS-based company, Cambridge Technology Vision, where he invented, built, and launched the first virtual data room for mergers and acquisitions. A VDR enables businesses to share information during the due diligence process in a secure online space. He also founded Membly, a platform which allows individuals to capture and share memories, including pictures, notes, videos, and audio in a secure and private way. Well, good afternoon, Thomas. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Brian. Good to be here.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you jumping on and sharing your story with us today and our global audience. So thanks again, Thomas. And so we're going to jump into the questions here. I'd like to really dive into your career a little bit. You've got a great career in tech as a developer, entrepreneur, CTO, and now you're the Chief Product Officer at Datasite. Could you share with our audience the secret to your career growth and what inspires you?
Oh, Brian, that's a great question. I tell you what, I felt like I was so lucky when I was growing up because my dad bought this Apple IIe and I was absolutely fascinated by it. I love gaming. I use it for gaming all the time. I kind of wish, esports are so big now. It wasn't a thing back then, but who knows, maybe I could have been an esports star. And having the Apple IIe got me into programming, and that ended up kind of branching into a whole bunch of things. So my first job, first summer after the first year of college, I had this data entry job. It was a pretty tedious job, entering really long chemical names into the system. It was really boring, and the system that I was using, the database that I was using, started to crawl to a halt. So I asked the people that I was working with if they, didn't mind if I tried to fix it. So I did. I learned this programming language back in the day. That was something called DBase, and I made it a lot faster. And then I added this type ahead feature. So if you're using search, like in Google or something like that now, it'll suggest the search that you're going to type in. And I did the same thing for these chemical names. So it made it super fast. And that basically got me on this track of making software. And I thought to myself how cool it would be to solve problems for millions of people. Software seemed like a really good way to do that. And after college, I worked to make some software products as an engineer. And I ended up working for these really young entrepreneurs that came straight out of MIT. And their example really inspired me to start a company. So in 1997, I started a company. And the original idea was to go after insurance, to get rid of paper and to use the internet. And I ended up pivoting that to mergers and acquisitions. I can still vividly remember the first conversation that I had with a guy who was running M&A. And he complained about having to travel and about these paper data rooms. So he said, hey, this is really tough. I've got people who are doing their day job, but I need them to get involved in a deal. And they have to travel to this physical room that's packed with paper, everything that's necessary to understand a business. So I thought, hey, I could move that online. So I ended up building a product, the first data room for mergers and acquisition, called the Acquisition Trustee. And after 2 years, I sold my company in 1999 to a company called Intralinks. And I was there for 10 years, building their software service platform and a large M&A business, through to a successful exit to a private equity company. And then I spent a couple of years as a founder. I decided to move to Austin, Texas. I had a very fun and interesting and different stint as the CEO of a single family office, basically allocating capital and looking at algorithmic investing. And then I got connected to Rusty Wiley through a mentor and someone I'd worked with, a guy named Peter Harrison. And Rusty told me about this opportunity at Datasite. It was a transformation story, taking The original name of the company was Merrill Corporation. The company had been around for 50 years. And the idea was, hey, we're going to turn this into a software service powerhouse. And what fun that was. That was amazing. I was really fortunate to have the backing of Rusty and the investors to hire a great team, build a ground up product platform. And at the end of the day, if I reflect back on this, I'm just as passionate today about solving customer problems as I've ever been. The analogy that I use is that it's like being a chef. I want to cook a wonderful meal, and I want to see people enjoy it. And that's really how I think about software. So it's been a lot of fun.
Great. Thomas, thank you for sharing. And you're absolutely right. That passion and that growth continues to inspire and produce happiness in our lives. So thank you for sharing. I know that's going to be helpful for our audience as well. So Thomas, we're going to talk about the pandemic, right? Hopefully it's going to lift soon and we go back to some sort of normalcy. But what are your plans?
I can't wait.
Yeah, we're all there. We're all there. What are your plans for growth in 2021?
Yeah, deal making today is really soaring. It is amazing. We have the new projects on our platform is basically a reflection of deals that are at this inception phase. And if you look at what we've seen, our deals are up 21% in January, 12% in February, 67% in March, and 80% in April. So I think there are a lot of things that are driving this growth. A continuing good interest rate environment, vaccines. It's been tremendous to see the vaccine distribution. I'm on Pfizer shot 1. Can't wait for Pfizer shot number 2. So that's helped out a lot. It's amazing how people have adapted. We've adapted. The M&A business that we service adapted. Where people used to be really dependent on face-to-face meetings. Of course, everything is being done remotely. And interestingly enough, when you're doing things remotely involving a bunch of people, it's actually a lot easier and faster to coordinate things. So I would say that the pace of deal making has increased and sped up. Within our company, we've got these amazing stories of people working across geographies. So where our product teams used to be kind of geocentric, now we're really seeing people who are working, on these teams where, people are whoever knows where, and it's working, and it's working great. We've adapted a lot of technology to do that, and we've hired so many new people too. A lot of new people we haven't met in person. So we're really. For us, we're really excited about it. We have this opportunity to serve all these deal makers. And, right now it feels like the wind's at our back in terms of M&A.
That's awesome. And, I think, again, I always talk about the pandemic and the silver lining being all this innovation. I think people have really figured out their full potential within their business, even as a leader or a person. But now, if we go back to some sort of normalcy, I think we really are going to probably even take this a step further as far as growth within our organization. So thanks for sharing. And Thomas, you're obviously leveraging some new and emerging technologies within your tech stack. Is there anything specific you might be able to share with us today?
Sure. I like to think that we've got all the cool acronyms in our tech stack right now. CI/CD, microservices, all the things, the ways that people want to build technology now. We've got this in our platform, and it's been great because, as someone who's been around technology for a long time, I look at all this stuff as really managing complexity and managing change. So if you've got something that's structured well, you can scale it up better, faster. You can reuse it easier. And some of the things we're pretty pumped up about are things like micro front end. So where on the back end, we've seen, the creation of APIs like REST-based APIs and a separation between your user interface and your back end. And then the decomposition of your back end into these microservices that can kind of be in their own swim lane and be scaled separately and be kind of robust and resilient. Because if one service goes down, the other ones are still working. Now, it looks like there's an opportunity to do this on the front end and to create these components. And to there's so many good JavaScript frameworks now, but you just never know which one is going to be the winner. So micro front end kind of allows you to insulate yourself from that, and apparently have these reusable front end components, kind of matching what you've got on the back end. So I think that's pretty cool. From a customer perspective, I'm really focused on using AI. So we've got a lot of people doing work in Python, all with this goal of creating a magical experience for our customer. And what a magical experience means to me is doing things that appear to be clever, that save a lot of time for them. So we've taken the way that people organize documents and information, and we've cut the time down to organize that information, because when you put together a data room, you have to put together lots of info about a company. And we've taken that time, we've cut it down by about 45% by creating these AI models for categorization of content, for suggesting where they might go into a complicated folder structure. So that's just an example of the type of we're headed in. And I really hope, the more people we can get, the more developers that we can get that are familiar with AI techniques, it would be so useful, because then they would bring that into their problem solving. And right now, there just aren't that many people who think about problems in an AI way. They typically think about it in a rules-based way, which is the way that engineers, kind of are trained or were trained and brought up to develop.
I appreciate the share on that. I absolutely agree with you. And we get to talk about some really cool things that we're doing across the globe as far as new technology, and AI is certainly at the forefront, along with quantum computing, blockchain, and many others. So thanks for sharing, Thomas. I appreciate that. So Thomas, last question. Can you share something from your career that would be helpful for those looking to grow their career in either tech or entrepreneurship?
Yeah, definitely. The first thing I'd say is just get going. So there is a magic to putting your ideas out there, whether it's when you're working for a company and you're trying to solve a problem. The moment that someone puts an idea out there is, if you're not too wedded to it and you use it in the spirit of collaboration, then people are so good at refining things. So I tell people to just get your ideas out there, and there's a magic to being the first person to kind of get the ball rolling, because my view is that I want to harness the collective intelligence of the people that are around me. And then when it comes to entrepreneurship, it's all about the customer. So engage with real live customers as quickly and as early as you can, and as often as you can. And we found a couple of principles, over time that seem to work really well to do this. One is this concept of don't guess, test. So forget about navel gazing. Like, go talk with real customers about the thing that you're doing, and make sure that you're headed in a direction that solves a valuable, meaningful problem for them, and that you're doing it in a way that's compelling. Bring the future into the present. So make prototypes, because a prototype is a lot faster and easier to make than the final thing. So you can get real customer feedback based on a prototype that looks good and sort of feels like the real thing, even though there isn't anything behind it. And the last thing would be this concept of shoshin, or beginner's mind. So see what you can do to look at the things that you're doing, the problems you're going after, whether you're inside a company or you're doing your own entrepreneurial thing, and look at the stuff that for a customer might be obvious, but for the people who have been in that space, maybe they've just become blind to it. So that, to my mind, is all about that beginner's mind concept. And last thing is that tech is made by people. So, show that you genuinely care about your people, grow your people, be that place where their resume is going to be better, a year from today than it is right now. And then what can you do to create an environment where they want to stick around for a long time? that, to my mind, has proven to be something that creates a great environment, both for the people on the team and for me.
That's awesome. And you're right. Having that culture, having that trust, taking care of your employees, ultimately takes care of your customers, and it makes a very synergetic world. So thanks again for sharing, Thomas. And Thomas, it was a pleasure having you on today, and I look forward to speaking with you real soon.
Brian, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Bye for now.